62,000 people tuned into that. 62,000 people, bro.
Holy hell.
Bro, that's fucking massive.
That's worthy of,
done,
hey, I'm just thinking.
That was awesome. Good job.
Thanks, Sammy. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Loved it. Two of my favorite boys.
Yeah, Orca keeps updating the numbers with me. Like he was like, dude, 35,000 people have watched this thing, 40,000 people have watched this thing, and now it's like 62. Yeah, Sammy, thanks. I saw your tweet where you said, two of my favorite hexagons having a discussion.
Absolutely. I adore you both. It was so good to hear you chat, and it seemed like you really got along well with Richard. I mean, even though you had really good points and he really respected that, he saw that you live a really good lifestyle, you're a really good person, and you're smart. And, I just think that you had my respect and you had everyone else's respect. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was saying to Orca that surprisingly... sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, when he called you dumb?
He didn't call me dumb. He called one of my comments gay, and then he might have called me dumb.
He definitely called you dumb.
I know how he interacts in these situations, and I know that I didn't take that personally.
I know, but you should have had.
I wouldn't.
No, bro. You should have anticipated that. I really think you should have anticipated that, and you should have had without skipping a beat. You should have been like, "And bro, you're fat." Back at him straight away. Just like in a fight, someone throws a stiff jab in, and then you straight away
jab back.
At him,
I really wanted to stay on point and also not do obviously any personal attacks or anything like that.
Yeah,
you handled it really well, and that's Richard's personality. Of course, he's going to call you gay and dumb. If you're a man, and he doesn't agree with you.
I love that he was back on his swearing vibe. He was back on his swearing vibe. He was dropping. He was calling other founders. I won't say it on this cheat, but the word that starts with F that people don't like. He was dropping all sorts of swearing.
The N-word.
And he obviously doesn't apply his same no swearing attempts that he does on YouTube as he does on Twitter, and I love that. Raw, unfiltered Richard is the best, right?
Yeah. That's it. That's it. And I think you left a really good impression on him, Tangent. I really do, because he hasn't seen that from any of the maxis. He hasn't seen intelligent argument. Who also, you love Hex and you love Bitcoin. He said that. He was really impressed, and he was super impressed by your partying with all your hot chicks.
He mentioned that twice, actually. He mentioned it at the start and at the end of the debate. Surprisingly, Richard and I have actually not had many interactions directly on social. So even though there's a lot of direct connections between us in terms of people that I'm close with who are close with him. But surprisingly, we've never been on a stream together. We've never really interacted on Twitter very much at all. And so this was really good to have that opportunity to have that chat with him. And And the responses have just been so positive from everyone. It's been crazy.
I think we can get a lot of mileage out of this.
Yes.
If it's presented as a Bitcoin guy having a go at Richard, you can get it out into the Bitcoin community. That's
literally what I was just about to say about how I'm going to present it to my in real life friends is going to be. So it's not a Hex shill from me, because in this particular thing, in that content, I'm actually on the side against Hex. So it's kind of like a reverse shill, but while also exposing everyone I know to Hex and getting them to hear what Richard has to say to these sort of very high level criticisms and defenses, and etc. I'm very open-minded with anything that anyone wants to say, anything that anyone wants to create. I'm incredibly open-minded. But something that was really freaking me out that my preference would have been that people stopped doing it and actually never did it in the first place was when people were doing gender swaps with Richard, pictures of Richard. I was like, this is disturbing me. This is very disturbing. It was pictures of Richard as a female, where it was actual the AI that, and I was just man, please.
Sort of like Erica Wall.
A bit like that, yeah. But for some reason, those ones didn't disturb me as badly. Maybe because I've just got more respect for Richard. That's no offense to Eric. I have respect for him as well, just nowhere near the level. So DNB versus Hex events. So we just had a graphics designer update the logo and make it 3D. So this is, if it loads, that's our new Sound Money logo. So that the events are called Sound Money. It's going to be Hex-sponsored drum and bass events, and it's not just going to be in Perth. As soon as we can, we're going to be expanding and doing events all over Australia and New Zealand. So, and ramping up in terms of like the artists will be like international artists and shit like that. We're going to go as large as possible. But this is the first one here. It's called the Euphoria Multiverse. And it's, so you can see down here, sponsored by Hex. But really that's just me, but I decided to make the sponsor Hex rather than myself. And so this is my event. And so if you want to help me out by following this, and also for fun, so that you can keep and see, because we'll be posting to this Insta with footage from the events and shit like that. And so if you want to keep up to date with it and know when the events are going to go to other cities or countries, etc., then following this Insta called Sound Money, where there's a 0 on the O for money, is where it's going to be at. So yeah, thank you.
Richard Classic.
Yeah. I heard he had a Twitter space with Tangent.
Yeah.
Like,
Tangent was part of the 4-hour Twitter space, yes.
I could not find it.
You come to this fun time here to talk to people about current events without current eventing yourself.
Yes.
I think I have that Twitter. Are you talking about Richard Hart's Twitter appearance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have 2 sound snippets from that. I'll try to forward it to the Wake Up Hex, or I'll let my navigator do that, so no worries. I'm still going to be looking at the screen. You'll see if you want to play them or not, if they're relevant.
Some relevant items from memory
funny.
as well.
Like the one time where all the
T-Bird.
good things happening, I have like 20 memes and 20 references and articles and everything. And the one time where all the things are happening, I'm not at my PC and I don't have access to it, of course.
This is Das Baum thinking that he could actually leave the show in our hands, but is too nervous to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he sounds like shit, and he has no video.
Keep your hands on the wheel.
And he's driving a fucking car. Mother is going to be leaving sandwiches for all you youngsters for you when you get home. Lights out from 8:30 p.m. and no smoking. So look, there were some pertinent things that happened on this thing that Peter did not listen to.
Yes.
DJ Cryptomatic, were you there on the stream? I think you were. I think I saw you there. Excellent.
was
Wales
there.
Only, were you there on the stream? I think I saw you too.
No, it was happening.
Or somebody's using your icon then. Some fan of yours.
Yeah,
using your
I
icon.
was actually in the stream at the time, and there are various people in the community that do use the same avatar, and that's fine.
Right, right. But you listened to it a little bit, right? Maybe not all 4 hours, but you heard. You didn't care to join us. Okay. Well.
No.
Well then, DJ Cryptomatic.
Was there anything new?
Educate Peter and Wales Only. Yeah, there were a couple things.
Oh, 2 things.
Tell us.
Enlighten us.
Tell us.
Please.
Yeah, 2 things. Let's put the Tangent, Tangent getting his day in the sun, so to speak, taking on this mock debate with Rich. I say mock debate only because Tangent is a huge Hexican as well, so we don't expect him to truly be in the full Bitcoin maxi camp, but did a yeoman's job of bringing a more educated and even-handed type of debate to Richard, and I thought he did a fine job for an hour of the 4-hour stream. Now, the most important takeaway, and DJ Cryptomatic, please correct me if I'm wrong, was KG says to Richard, damn it, please settle this once and for all. There's a huge disparity in the community. There's a big debate as to whether or not you, Richard, are purposely timing the market bottom, or you're just waiting for your devs to say green light, and then you push the button to go live for PulseChain. To which Richard said vehemently and in no uncertain terms, I am not timing the mofo in market. Do you remember the details about this, DJ Cryptomatic?
No, that must have been a part where I didn't listen.
This is the biggest takeaway. Because there is, even after Richard says no,
I found it actually very hard to listen to because people were constantly interrupting the whole thing.
Yes.
I found it very difficult to focus on.
Yeah, and the format is speak your mind, move along. Speak your mind, move along.
But I applaud Hextangent for doing that, and Richard did too. Like he said, it takes a Hexican to come up here and take the Bitcoiner maxi position. So
yes,
and
we
I
always
think
said so.
He did a great job.
He did a fine job.
We have a secret agent here saying that he's timing. So
Yes, of course, Secret Agent still holds on to it, even though Richard says not once, not twice, but thrice, no, 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 we're not timing the bottom.
This was also a topic on the happy hour with Cabana last Friday, and they were very much convinced that he is, in fact, timing that.
Let them, because that happened before the... That happened before.
That was before the spaces, so now I guess we know that.
And KG said, enough already. Please, sir, tell us which it is. And Richard says, fuck that. As soon as the devs are ready, we launch.
Yes.
But it is, however, arguably, it is a good thing that we are getting out of the way during a bear market. That is a caveat. But there is no conspiracy where Richard is lying to you. If you trust Richard enough to sacrifice, then you certainly trust Richard's words directly when he says, I am just waiting for the devs to release everything because I don't want any downtime. I don't want to have any stopping of the chain and any of that bullshit like Solana. Boom. Unless he's got a great point here.
We want to talk about this new thing that is launching called the Texan token.
Yeah.
I know there's people that I've seen a lot of Twitter stuff blowing up on it. Telegram stuff. So I want to just dive right in, man. I want to what is this thing? And let's just go for it.
Yep. Here's our quick spiel. What this token is, it's the first endowment token on the blockchain. And what this means is we are targeting communities with large memberships, at least 100,000 or more. In this case, for this token, we have partnered up with TNM. This is the Texas Nationalist Movement. They're the biggest political party behind the Republicans and Democrats in Texas. They have, I think at last check, they have 435,000 members. So what we're doing is partnering up with them, and our goal is to make it beneficial for them in that we are going to have a donation period where 100% of donated funds go to them, and in exchange, we are going to pretty much do what everybody tries to do. It's the holy grail, right? You want to onboard no coiners. So we have it set up to where they are going to be onboarding no coiners into this Texan token. And this is their token. This is what they're going to be using. And I just think it's a really cool marriage, targeting nonprofits, targeting communities of no coiners that have big memberships, and finding a way to work with them on PulseChain. So that's what we're doing. I would say the biggest thing about our project is kind of what TNM, the group, stands for. They do stand for freedom and sovereignty. In fact, we say that is the utility of this token. We see all around the world in Western countries. We see it in the UK. We see it in Australia. We see it in New Zealand. We see it in France, Germany, Spain, all these places where people are feeling like the government is getting too overbearing. Specifically, right now, we're feeling it with the money pinch. Mm-hmm. We have an economic policy, for example, in the United States of America, and a redistributive policy in many of the Western countries across the world. That it's redistributive, and it's really hurting the middle class. In fact, it's destroying the middle class. And we're not putting blame on one president. We're putting blame on all the presidents, because this has happened over and over and over and over again. So where are we stuck? Why are we in crypto in the first place? Because we're looking for an alternative. How does this all tie back? So this organization, they are actually one of the folks that consulted with the Brexit movement. If you're not familiar with that, those are the folks, it's the UK who split away from the European Union peacefully and through negotiation. And by doing that, it put sovereignty back in the UK's hands. And it had shockwaves that reverberated outwards, but ultimately what you saw the UK maintain its sovereignty. And it gives a blueprint in a way and kind of hope for the rest of the world to be able to have an alternative way to go about things, an alternative way to solve problems, a way to push back against federal leviathans all across the world. And that's what we see. So these guys are leveraged to be able to do that. I can't speak much to exactly how that works. I would encourage people to go to texitnow.org. Some of the things that I really resonate with this organization is they focus heavily on entrepreneurialism. Okay. Which we know that this is the basic economic building block of any Western society. All right. That's the entrepreneur. The neat thing about what we're doing, we're leveraging the kind of the power, we're leveraging the knowledge of an existing organization that's trying to do good in the world. And we're pairing that up with potentially really big adoption to PulseChain. Once this thing launches, people can choose to see it as a vehicle to help the world, or people can choose to see it as just, I want to make some damn money. And we know that there's both of those people out there. We're not naive to that fact. Okay. So on one end, what you can do before PulseChain launches, and we will be launching on PulseChain, not Ethereum. And that's actually hold on, I get to do this, a tip of the hat to PulseChain folks and Hexagon folks and Richard Hart. I mean, we want to be loyal to you guys because you guys have helped build us and we've helped build you, and we're in this thing together. But initially, there is going to be a donation phase, okay? And this is not a sacrifice. This is actually a donation. 100% of funds are going to go to TNM. 100%, okay? Now, more details are going to come out, but you will receive points based on those donations. 100% of these funds go there. You will receive points at a $1 per 10,000 point rate. That's how that's going to work out. So if you wanted to help them, right now before launch, that's how you would do it. And what happens after that, we've got no expectations, but that's kind of what it looks like. Hope I answered your question there. So yeah, this is the Texan main page. Okay, so this is texan.cc. And what you see here, this says declare your independence, secure your future. The Texan token is a new crypto endowment token, which stands as a financial symbol of independence and self-determination, launching on PulseChain. I want to point out that this has been independently audited. And mind you, audits are not cheap. It's about $33,000, I believe. And here's a neat thing. If you guys haven't done research on projects before and they have their white paper, you can actually click these audits and you can go through and you can see a very, very detailed report, the summary, the overview. You can see some of the minor and medium problems that they found. You can see some of the things that could be optimized. You can see the changes that we made to resolve all of these. So you can see all the resolutions here. And it's just a really, really neat way to kind of dive in and start researching a little bit more about the token that you're wanting to do business with, all right, and the code and all that. So I would definitely encourage people to take a look at that. The next part, we've got the white paper up here. You guys will be able to check that out as well. And we've got the tokenomics at a very basic level. This contract is 100% immutable. This is 100% trustless yield. There is an interest scraping function built into this contract without you having to sell your principal and without penalty. So that's pretty interesting. And this is also deflationary. So we will launch with 100% of our supply from the start. And I'll kind of go over how it is deflationary. So the token type will be a PRC20. It will launch on PulseChain. There is a 5% annual base interest rate. And this actually goes out to 22 years if you want to stake. This is deflationary. So how is this deflationary? All penalties are burned. Okay, so if you end your stake early, if we kind of liken this to something like Hex, and I just want to say this too, the differences that I'm going to talk about between Hex and Texan Coin, it doesn't make Texan Coin better than Hex by any stretch of the imagination. Hex is a very well thought out, very well designed. In fact, when we were designing this, we stumbled upon things that said, oh, that's why Richard did that. It makes so much sense. So we're doing things a little bit different. It's much more simple than Hex, but that is not a good thing for us necessarily or a bad thing for Hex. We're just apples and oranges. That's all this is. So if we look at this, if you do end your stake early, 100% of the fees are going to be burned forever. That is how we get to be deflationary. Mm-hmm. We will launch with 100 trillion tokens Okay, 97% of those tokens are going to be locked up in a contract that we do not have the keys to. The keys are destroyed and burned. So 100 trillion of this supply, 97% of that is locked up. And that kind of serves as the credit and the debit account for this whole thing. This is where stakers can go and they can lay their claim to that supply that's locked up in that 97%. You cannot touch that 97% unless you are in the staking class. What happens when all that runs out is you will not be able to stake anymore until some more supply pops up. If somebody ends their stake or somebody ends their stake early. Yeah, no admin keys, like I said. 3% of that supply is going to be airdropped. The supply is going to be for donors, it's going to be for partners, and it's going to be for the team. And that essentially, I mean, it's really that simple, guys. There's not much to it. We wanted to make it really simple, particularly because we are targeting 500,000 people in their organization to try to bring into PulseChain. And we wanted to try to make this as simple as possible for those folks. We don't even have many lines of code with this thing. It's very, very simple. So that's particularly the reason. That's why.
I heard about Hex from the Fox Biz show yesterday, then found Diaz on YouTube to learn more.
Hearing about toilets. That's right, baby.
Toilets.
That's right.
See, here's a fucking question. This community can still freaking have a fine time during a bear market because, after all, we're staked.
This is the luxury that Hex affords us. We can not concern ourselves with the variation in market prices and concern ourselves with our health and welfare, such as how to maintain sanitary and bodily functions. It's critical. It's critical.
We are in the business of longevity.
That's right.
And this is one aspect of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. Sandy Beach thinks that she's taking a slam at my wife, but I said stepmother, so it's unrelated. All of her kids are mutts as well, so there you go.
You can stomp all you want on those. Go ahead.
Yeah. Totally.
Wake Dog once sat on a toilet in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Big, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Big camera
and it
store.
played music, talked, and warmed the seats up.
Whoa,
yes,
okay.
exactly.
But I have to
and
be
then
honest,
Japanese don't play.
Unfortunately, you're not supposed to sit on the demos too long and actually excrete anything in them. That's embarrassing.
Do they actually have water in the demos? Because that could be confusing.
No, they don't. Well, wait. I lie. Yes, there is like if you go to the actual Toto showroom, they've got like a plastic seat on top of it. Showroom? I did. Show and tell.
Yes, you did.
You
Must
stick
be serious.
they have like a plastic fishbowl cover on top of it, and it sprays up, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Ah.
You know, like seeing a showroom for like a dishwasher. They want to show you how it works inside. That type of thing.
Wow.
Outstanding.
But yes, there is heat. There is hot blowers, and there is a little bit of music to drown out the sound of your bilabial fricatives.
But I sat on a toilet that had a warm seat, and that's just horrible. I like the seat cold, man. It's better.
But you sit on ice and play chess. You're weird.
Well, that's true. But if the seat warms up, it kind of always feels like someone has sat before you.
Yes. Okay.
Why would you want to trigger that trauma in you?
It's not trauma. It's not trauma.
You guys are
it's not like the cold part of the pillow, and you get in your bed, and you're like, "This is hot as fuck."
Well, it kind of is.
No, it's a nice coming. It's a welcome coming home to the buttocks. You're like, what? Yes.
I like this edit.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, just imagine if you have all the streamers and you just have one playthrough of all the streamers, like a GTA loading screen. That shit out.
So it was armless before, and it didn't make much sense, but now it's really cool.
Yeah, I fixed it. I basically copied the other arm and then just put it there.
Okay,
cool. It looks good.
Ago. Now it's okay.
Yeah. So you've only got like 320 more people to mock up. So
yeah,
go for
pretty
it.
much. Yeah.
So many streamers now. So many.
Maybe too many.
Yeah, we should.
There's a lot of them.
We should have a Squid Game to decide which one survives.
Which one's valid? Which one is worthy of a GIF?
Well, in the last 120 seconds of the show, is there any parting remarks you guys would like to flow?
I guess, just understand that this is an opportunity. This is a time where you should be focused on accumulation. I mean, the message can't change, right? Because we're still living within the same time frame. Matter of fact, let me see something. Pretty sure we haven't hit 300 days yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah. This shit will go up again. It will make a new all-time high. It will then drop again, amazingly, and go up again. So, well.
Quick before the cops come.
291 days into the bear for Hex.
Yeah.
And how many days left in your prediction before was around 90 something, right?
Yeah, so now we're down to 60 something.
60 something? It hasn't been 30 days since you said that, is it?
70 something.
70 something, okay. That's
291 days, 365 minus 291, so 65 plus 9, 74.
Holy crap, man. Is that based on averages?
Yeah, based on a 1 year bear cycle. So if it stays true, then that's the end of it.
If my calculation or if my measurement is correct, then Hex, by reaching its all-time high, will do 11.8 x. So yeah, that's not only that's not the new all-time high, just by reaching the old one. So that's speaking to your risk-reward ratio.
I mean, the risk reward down here is crazy, right? This is like zero risk.
Yeah, like
the risk is
where could you 11x your money by reaching the all-time high?
I thought it would be 20 something X's from here.
No, I have to disappoint you
by
9x.
We're at 4 cents, so 4 cents to 50, whatever it takes us there.
I want to bring up something that I responded to today. I'll try to find it. It was a tweet. So I responded to a tweet. There's someone talking about Robert Kiyosaki and Richard Hart getting together. And
I would say if you responded to a tweet, it wasn't mine because you never respond to my tweets.
I purposely try to get away from your tweets. I purposely try
not
not
very
to
good.
pay attention to them.
To be honest, they're not very good.
So, well, thank you for being honest. So I won't play this now, guys, but I do want to tease this right now. Someone said, hey, at the real Kiyosaki, you should speak to the founder of Hex at Richard Hart. You two would have a great conversation. And Hexen311 said, pretty sure RK is familiar with Hex. We can't talk about it at the real Kinetics. And I says, does this answer your question? So more to come, guys. More to come. So hope some of you guys actually saw that out there. If not, it's all good. It's all
You've
good.
met Kiyosaki, right?
I have, yes, several times.
Nice. Oh, nice.
I got kicked out of the conference. He kicked me out. His long bony finger. He pointed to me and he said, if you aren't going to pay attention, get the fuck out of here. And I said, oh man.
You weren't paying. What were you doing?
I was texting on my phone. He asked us to participate. He was
wow.
So another Hexagon and Funding Jim were sitting next to me, and we were three at the end of a table. There was no one on the other side of us. And he said, hey, I want you guys to turn to each other. We're going to do an activity. I want you guys to turn to each other and talk to each other about what your parents taught you about money. And they turn and they start talking to each other, and I'm on the end of the table. There's nobody there. And I was like, oh, well, they're busy. And my daughter, my 16-month-old daughter at the time, was really sick the night before. Like, my wife was in the ER till like 2:00 in the morning. So I was texting to check in on her to see how everything was going. I didn't think I was being too disrespectful, right? Well, my buddy knocks over on my arm and he goes, hey, one of these other Hexicans. I don't know if he wants me saying he was there, but he goes, hey, he's talking to you. And I look up And that's when Robert Kiyosaki's pointing at me, young man, if you aren't going to participate, get the out of here. And I was like, dropped my phone and got up and like I was getting sent to the principal's office, and I felt like I was 12 all over again. I started walking back to the. What's that? I was
texting. I didn't.
You didn't hear that? You're too busy texting.
I'm just kidding. No, I heard you. But I'm so disrespectful. I'm so sorry.
So it's pretty funny. I got to the door and I was like, dude, I'm not getting out of here. I'm here to watch him, like, specifically. Like, he's the guy I really wanted to meet. Like, I geeked out on this guy. I've met a lot of famous people in the past, and he's the only one that I like fangirled over when I met. I was like, it's Robert Kiyosaki.
It'd be great if you'd have like went out to your car or truck or whatever and came back in with like a fake mustache and like came in to set at a different table and be like,
same shirt and everything, and just had one of like the goofy disguises, the glasses with the mustache and the nose,
or look really silly by putting a bandana over on your forehead and having like some tinted glasses or something. Oh shit! Wait a second.
I will tell you, when I was at the Limitless conference, he was on stage talking with Tom Wheelwright, his accountant, and they are super bullish on crypto. Here's the thing. They're scared to put their brand on any specific crypto right now. I mean, look at what the market just did. Could you imagine saying, hey, we love Luna, and then all of a sudden it dropped? That's what's so scary for them. So he doesn't hate Hex, Ross, at all. He does not hate Hex at all. In fact, he likes the idea of cash flow without having to do anything. Like, he really likes the idea. I mean, other than running code, like, he likes that idea. Like, he's all about cash flow. That's exactly his shtick, is cash flow. But when he was on stage at Limitless, they were super pro crypto and blockchain. The reason why is they said and they used their cash flow game as an example. If you've ever played cash flow, you've got your assets, your liabilities, and then you have the auditor. And he says the blockchain has a built-in auditor. People discount how valuable that auditor is, because it doesn't matter what your assets and your liabilities say if you don't have an auditor to verify that those assets and liabilities are true. So they are super pro blockchain. Super. I've had a little bit of a conversation with him on this, and he loves the idea that there's an auditor built into the blockchain, but he's not 100% sold on any specific crypto, and he only holds things that people around him hold. So he was not the first in his inner circle to hold Bitcoin. He was not the first to hold Ethereum. He's got some other coins. I am not at liberty to discuss what other coins I know for a fact he has. It's not my story to tell, once again. But let's just say, like, he doesn't hate Hex, and he is not anti-crypto. Now, the fact that he's got $1 billion in debt out there and he makes $2 billion a year off of that debt, and it's all in real estate, you can understand why that's what he's excited to talk about. So
is the fact that, like, from like my aspect is, overall is like, we're going through bear market times, and if it's the first time in a bear market, this is the way it goes. I saw it last bear market after 2017, and hopefully this cycle goes a little bit shorter.
I don't think it will. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? I don't think it will.
No, you're allowed to say it. I mean, I'm, like I said,
you may disagree with me, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah. I'm not discounting it, but I'm saying I'm hopeful.
But I don't know. Technically, think about it this way. If you crashed at the end, well, technically you really crashed at the beginning of 2018. You were good through Christmas. I mean, you obviously had some price down, but you really started to see from 17 to 11, and then finally down in 2019. That was really only a year and a half, a real year and a half before you really started to see it. And it wasn't even quite a year and a half. We've been in a bear market for over a year now, guys. That just tells you in another 6 months, we should see some recovery. Now, I'm not saying that's a guarantee. The fundamentals may be a little different, but if you just go off of the cycles that have happened from the moment it's at the all-time high to the time it starts correcting and falls out of the parabola, we are over a year into this right now, guys. That is great news. That means, guys, you better be building for the next 5 to 9 months. The next 5 to 9 months, get those stacks, get those bags, whatever coin you want. I just happen to be a proponent of advocating for trustless, permissionless systems like the RH ecosystem. So just wanted to throw that out there. Not financial advice.
No, I've been an advocate for the school of thought that believes that there's going to be a bloodbath that, unlike what many of us have ever seen before here coming up October, November. I think we're going to finally get to see that great washout that we've been talking about happening for so long. If you've been in crypto for any amount of time, you've looked at your brothers and sisters and said, man, is there really 20,000 some cryptos now? And you go, God damn, yeah, I guess one of these days we're going to have a washout. Well, Rothschild's here to tell you that I believe that that's coming sooner than later. It's all kind of macro, big picture related to how they're trying to position the world to get ready for this CBDC. But Hex is going to be one of the very, very few non-government contract related ERC-20s that's going to remain in the new world, in my opinion.
When I look at these, what people are predicting about the housing market, I think a lot of people are actually incorrect. So what we don't have that we had in 2006, 2007 is we didn't have a lot of these ninja loans. I think the mortgages written right now are very well underwritten comparatively to the mortgages that were written back in the early 2000s. So we don't have a lot of no verification of income, pseudo subsigners. Like we don't quite have the same issues we did. And so I think that we're going to be pretty strong with the housing market as far as that is concerned, as far as people not losing their homes. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there will be some foreclosures. I think there's a lot of people that overextended themselves. So, and when you have to tighten the belt, there's a lot of people that can't afford their house anymore. So, but the other side of the thing is I think we're going to see a correction on housing prices, but what I don't think is going to happen is a housing price crash. And the reason why is because we've been behind on new production of building new homes for almost a decade now. So we're almost a subsect, or what is it? It's a difference of 1 million new homes a year should have been built, and we weren't anywhere near that. I think we were only 30 to 40% of that. So I think there's still a lot of people with demand for housing out there, for people who can afford mortgages, that are still going to be shopping. Everyone's going to be waiting for these deals. And I think there will be a price correction. A lot of that has to do with the fact that as these mortgage rates continue to go up, you can buy less and less house for the same amount of monthly dollars. So I do see that happening, but just want to throw that out there, guys. I do not think there's going to be a crash, just personally, in my opinion.